My name is Robert Hayes. I'm 68 years old, a retired high school history teacher living on the outskirts of Phoenix, Arizona. For more than 35 years, I spent my life in classrooms, teaching teenagers about honesty, responsibility, and consequences. Ironically, the greatest lesson about those things came to me after retirement, delivered by the one person I trusted most, my own son. 3 years earlier, my wife, Linda, passed away after a long battle with cancer. When she died, the house became painfully quiet. The laughter disappeared. The routine of shared meals and late-night conversations vanished. The silence pressed against my chest every morning when I woke up alone. My son, Ethan, was my only child. He lived about 40 minutes away and visited when his schedule allowed. He worked in real estate and always talked about big deals, fast profits, and early retirement. He had charm, confidence, and a smile that made people trust him instantly. I was proud of his ambition, even if I didn't always understand his risky lifestyle. About a year after Linda's death, my health began to decline. I was diagnosed with a heart condition that required daily medication, careful monitoring, and regular doctor visits. Living alone started to feel dangerous. I once fainted while watering the garden and lay on the driveway for nearly 10 minutes before a neighbor noticed. That incident terrified Ethan, or at least that's what he told me. He insisted I move into his home so he could keep an eye on me. He said it was safer, cheaper than assisted living, and better for family bonding. I resisted at first, not wanting to give up my independence, but he kept pushing. "Dad, you took care of me my whole life. Let me take care of you now." Those words convinced me. The first few months were peaceful. Ethan cooked dinner most nights. We watched baseball together. He reminded me to take my medication and even drove me to my cardiology appointments. I felt lucky. Many older people don't have family willing to help them. I believed I was one of the blessed ones. Then subtle things started changing. My mail stopped coming regularly. Ethan said he was sorting it so I wouldn't get stressed by bills and junk mail. My phone was often missing. He claimed I kept misplacing it. When friends called, he'd tell them I was resting. My bank statements disappeared from the kitchen drawer where I always kept them. When I asked about my finances, Ethan brushed it off. "Dad, everything is automatic. You don't need to worry about that stuff anymore." I noticed he was constantly on his laptop late at night, whispering angrily on the phone in the garage. I heard words like deadline, investors, interest payments, and penalties. Once, I accidentally saw a letter on the counter with bold red letters that read, "Final Notice." When I picked it up, Ethan rushed over and snatched it away. "Just a business mistake, nothing to worry about," he said, smiling too quickly. Something inside me felt wrong, but I didn't want to believe my own son could be hiding something dangerous from me. Parents are experts in denial. 2 weeks later, everything collapsed. One morning, I woke up with intense chest pain and dizziness. My vision blurred, and my hands trembled. I collapsed near the kitchen table. I remember calling out Ethan's name. He rushed in, panic flashing across his face, but instead of calling an ambulance, he hesitated. His eyes darted toward the door, toward his phone, toward me. I begged him to call 911. He said quietly, "Let me help you first. Ambulances are expensive. Let's see if it passes." He dragged me into the guest bedroom and laid me on the bed. I felt too weak to argue. Then he left the room. I heard the lock click. At first, I thought it was a mistake. Maybe he locked it to keep the dogs out. I called for him. No answer. I tried the handle. Locked. My heart began racing, not from illness, but from fear. My medication bag was gone. My phone was gone. The window wouldn't open. I was trapped. Hours passed. My mouth became dry. My chest ached. I pounded on the door until my hands hurt. When Ethan finally came, he slid a small bottle of water under the door and said, "Just rest, Dad. I'll check on you later." He wouldn't meet my eyes. That's when I realized he wasn't protecting me. He was hiding me. For 3 days, I existed in darkness and weakness.
Small sips of water, no food, no medication. My heart felt like it was beating out of rhythm. I truly believed I was going to die in that room. I thought about my wife, my students, the life I'd lived. I kept wondering how my own son could do this. On the fourth night, I heard unfamiliar voices in the house, deep male voices, laughter, boxes being dragged across the floor. Panic surged through me. Summoning every ounce of strength left in my body, I slammed my fists against the door and screamed for help. The voices stopped abruptly. I heard shouting. Footsteps rushed toward the hallway. Suddenly, the door burst open, not by Ethan, but by two police officers. A neighbor had reported suspicious activity after seeing strangers moving heavy boxes into the house late at night. The police came for a welfare check. They found me collapsed on the floor, dehydrated, barely conscious, trembling uncontrollably. Paramedics rushed me to the hospital. As they wheeled me out, I saw Ethan sitting handcuffed on the couch, his face pale and empty. The truth came out faster than I ever imagined. Ethan had taken multiple high-interest private loans using my identity. He forged signatures, falsified documents, and used my retirement savings and credit as collateral for a risky property flip that failed miserably. When investors started demanding repayment and threatening legal action, he panicked. He believed that if I disappeared temporarily or was declared medically incompetent, investigations would slow down. My existence became an obstacle to his lies. He didn't plan to murder me directly. He simply didn't care if neglect killed me. Detectives charged him with elder abuse, identity theft, unlawful confinement, financial fraud, and reckless endangerment. During the trial, the prosecution revealed emails, forged contracts, and recorded phone calls proving everything. My savings, nearly $240,000, were gone. My credit was destroyed. My peaceful retirement was erased in weeks. Ethan cried in court. He apologized. He claimed stress, bad influence, and desperation. The judge listened silently. Then she said words I will never forget. Desperation explains behavior. It does not excuse cruelty. He was sentenced to 14 years in state prison. I lost my home because I could no longer afford the mortgage after the fraud. I moved into a small assisted living apartment. My health is fragile now. Some days my hands still shake when I hear a door lock behind me. Nightmares wake me in cold sweat. People often ask me if I hate my son. I don't know how to answer that. I mourn the son I thought I had. I grieve the future I imagined. But I also understand that justice had to be served, not just for me, but for every vulnerable elder who trusts the wrong person. If there is one lesson in my story, it is this. Danger does not always wear a mask of a stranger. Sometimes it smiles at you across the dinner table. Protect your elders. Pay attention to warning signs. And never assume blood alone guarantees loyalty. I survived what was meant to silence me, and survival itself is my victory.